Hello, you're watching Encore. I'm Richelle Harrison Plesse. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, Art Fever takes over the City of Light. The International Contemporary Art Fair, known as FIAC, is showcasing works from 180 galleries around the globe. Whether you're keen to check out the big names like Damien Hirst and Anish Kapoor, or discover emerging talent, for 4 days, Paris is the beating heart of the contemporary art world. And to talk about that, I'm joined by art dealer Kamel Mennour. Kamel, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us here on France 24 on Encore today.
Hello.
Now, your gallery has a long history with the International Contemporary Art Fair. What are the highlights from this year's FIAC? 1,500 artists taking part. Who should we be looking out for?
So much to see and so much to visit in the fair, but also in Paris. We have Paris is now for 1 week the center point in the world, with some of an incredible invitation for people to discover, like the Chukin exhibition at the Fondation Louis Vuitton, which is an amazing moment, unique. You should all run that to the foundation. There's the Picasso Giacometti. But I would say so much to see the Picasso, the Centre Pompidou and the Palais de Tokyo. But moreover, FIAC, with mostly 200 galleries, the best selection of the world.
Yeah, a lot to see and to cross off the list. Well, let's hear from FIAC's director, Jennifer Flay.
I wouldn't call what we're currently experiencing a crisis, but the art market is slowing down. I'm also sure that Paris is under threat. Paris is under siege.
So as we heard there, Kamel, the FIAC director, saying that Paris is under threat at the moment. Do you agree, and do you think that public art can do something for Paris's morale right now, given recent events?
I mean, we spent a horrible year. It was a nightmare, living nightmare. I would say art is a kind of window to show what can be an evolution and a progression of our society. And artists bring us to another level. And Paris deserves art, and to welcome all of our people coming to us.
You just opened a new gallery in London, only months after this shock Brexit result. How do you think Brexit will impact London's status as a major world art capital?
It will definitely impact it, I would say. I signed the day after Brexit. It's totally at contre-courant, meaning that I was really thinking that art is stronger than Brexit, even if everything is extremely afraid with this kind of reducing the opportunity of welcoming people. I would say, from my point, Brexit, it's a bad decision. But anyway, London is still a big hub for all over the world.
Well, you have 3 gallery spaces here in Paris. What do you look for when deciding whether to host an artist's work?
It's a kind of, when I'm inviting an artist, I'm just having an idea, a precise idea of what I would expect him to do at the space. So for the moment, we have a platform of invitation spaces, 3 in Paris, 1 in London. It can be a bridge between the 2 cities, and sometimes a kind of dialogue, recreating this dialogue, which was a little bit broke with the Brexit. I love this idea of having this conversation between the 2 capitals.
And just going back quickly to Brexit, as you mentioned there, do you think London will profit or suffer from what's going to happen?
This is the question. I am not enough prophet to answer to this question.
You don't know yet?
We don't know. We never know. But, I'm extremely happy to be in London now, because this is the time to invest the territory with art. It's very important. Art can be a solution for many things.
Okay. Well, many people, I have to say, are perhaps intimidated by contemporary art because they may not understand it. Yeah. How do you try and make it more accessible to a wider audience?
I was one of those people 20 years before. I didn't graduate with an art school. I did economics. So I didn't know nothing at that time.
Right, so it wasn't necessarily your area of expertise.
Definitely not.
Wow.
But I read a lot, and art is something about knowledge, about what was done before and what is the situation now. So I visited many exhibitions, museums, galleries. I was saying books, which is very important to know. And after, you are with the artist and you know more and more. So I totally agree what we were saying. It can be extremely intimidating. But all the galleries that we all are trying to welcome people, to explain them what are the artists we are presenting, to explain what is the world now.
Well, this year's International Contemporary Art Fair sees more than 180 galleries from some 25 countries taking part. Art lovers and collectors alike have flocked to the French capital, but you'd be wrong if you thought the Grand Palais was the only place to get your art fix. As Axel Simon and Alexander Orcott report, there's plenty happening at satellite fairs on the FIAC sidelines.
When the FIAC sets up in Paris, collectors and artists alike venture to all kinds of spaces in the capital. Visual artist Jeanne Susplugas is presenting two of her most recent pieces at the Asian Art Fair. Her work explores the themes of addiction and alienation.
These are the very same garlands used at Christmas. We're attracted to these lights, but it's just like with insects, your wings can get burnt. I like this idea that we draw people in with things that are profound, attractive, funny, but let them choose if they want to go further or not.
The forum is also an opportunity for artists to exhibit in unusual places, as is the case with Private Choice, where a luxurious apartment kept secret opens to well-informed collectors.
Here, all of a sudden, we're in someone's living space. My piece is on a table that I didn't choose. It's interesting for someone else to take over my work, and we too accept to have something taken away.
Just a short walk away is the Palais de la Découverte. Here, for the first time, the FIAC has decided to highlight performing artists.
Just one breath and a syllable to open the flower of poetry.
Alex Sacchetti is one of them. He takes the audience on a journey through his poetic wanderings.
It's a guided tour through heaven and hell using poetry. I kidnap them, as you say in English. I take the public and I force them to walk with me.
Walking to discover new places, unusual venues across the Palais, some of which can be very unexpected.
We're going to play with the installments that are already here. But for me, what's important is to take people places where they can't normally go. So we go through the offices, we go through the emergency exits, the basements, where all of the objects are stored.
A dreamlike experience that appeals to the public imagination, shining a light on the unknown.
Well, Kamel, as we were talking about earlier, the FIAC Art Fair is a showcase for both established artists but also some up-and-coming talent. Your own galleries showcase both kinds of artists, but emerging talent and established artists. How important for you is it to nurture these young artists trying to make a name for themselves?
It's extremely important for us in our programmation of artists to bring to the audience, to visitors, collectors, curators, museums, press, the emerging artists, such as artists we discovered, Camille Mennour, Latifa Eshach, Mohamed Bourouissa, Alicia Kouadé, which are in our booth. Extremely important to present the content of what is our place, Paris. Those artists came from Paris. Very important to show that we are not a place in which there's not creation, So it's very important to create this kind of confrontation between very emerging, as I was saying, and very consecrated artists, important, which are already very known.
And so perhaps some of these young emerging artists, they'll be the big names of tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I hope so.
Perhaps, you hope so, of course. Well, actually, some of the artists that you have uncovered have gone on to big things and become big stars in the art world.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're onto someone special?
I would say maybe because it's a question of smelling, watching, a little bit hearing, but I would say it's an intuition. Being a gallerist, it's also trying to look for something and to be obsessive. I am extremely, it's like a meeting with a woman. Something, there's an alchemy, and you are totally sure, even if you're not sure.
Okay, well, earlier this week, you held a charity auction, Heroes, in partnership with Christie's, and I've got the catalogue right here. And that was to support the Imagine Institute, which raises funds for the research of genetic diseases. What more can you tell us about this auction? How did it go?
It came because of a personal situation in my family, but anyway, I wanted to bring some of my colleagues to take care, to look after the research in genetic disease, and it was a miracle. Art brought to the searchers of Hôpital Necker 4.7 million. And
that's how much you raised with this auction?
We're extremely happy. For Paris, it's a miracle. Philanthropy is not in our DNA, and that time it became a miracle.
Oh, well, it sounds, what a great cause.
Thank you.
Well, another aspect of the FIAC is hors les murs, which means outside the walls, a concept that takes art beyond the galleries and museums and into the streets. It's an open-air showcase with sculptures, performances and monumental installations dotting the Tuileries Gardens, the Place Vendôme and along the banks of the River Seine. We'll leave you with a clip of that, but once again, thank you very much to our guest, Kamel Mennour. Thank you so much for being with us today. For more arts and culture news, check out our website and connect with us on social media. Stay with us. There's lots more coming up on France 24 after this.
Let me down.